Welcome back to Do-It-Myself Garage. I've got my friend's Nissan here again, and watch this. Watch this. Watch this. No, that's just a drip of oil that's on there. There's no oil on his dipstick. I noticed the last time when he was here, he had a drip in the driveway, and I didn't notice that it was oil. He went in to have an oil change done, and they said, "Oh, we're not going to touch it." Yeah, I don't think he has any oil left at all. What is in the pan still looks like it's leaking. I can't figure out where it's leaking from. It's all wet around the drain cover, but it's wet in spots that it shouldn't be. So I'm wondering if his entire pan is, maybe it's rusted through or something. So I'm gonna pull the entire pan off of there, inspect it. If we have to order him a pan, we will. But let's take a look at it. It's still running. It is showing a camshaft position sensor or something over timing. Maybe that's due to the lack of oil, because it's not. I don't know if these are like a variable valve train, and without the proper amount of oil, it's not really. Yeah, I'm not sure. He wasn't getting an oil light, which is unusual. You would think you'd get a low oil with the oil that low, a low oil pressure. So maybe maybe we'll get lucky with this old beast. Let's get that pan off there. All right, just wanted to restate, the oil change place said they wouldn't work on it. When I checked the dipstick, it was completely out of oil. So that might be why they didn't want to touch it. Now the entire underside of the car is full of oil, but here's the oil pan. And it's dry on this side. It's wet all the way around. It's probably using a new gasket, which we're probably going to end up taking this off and doing that. But it's soaking wet back there, which I can't figure out why it would be that soaking wet. So I'm guessing there's a hole in this pan or something. We'll find out here shortly. I'm going to try to drain what oil is in here. I'll try to film it. I'm going to break that thing loose and see if any oil comes out at all. Well, it wasn't a cross-threaded bolt like I thought, because I thought for sure I was going to come under here and find this bolt was cross-threaded. Because that's really typical if you take your stuff in and have oil change, let me guess. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Yasiel, I'm laughing, but that's all the oil you had. That's it. Your engine's probably shot, but we'll see. Big Altima energy. Maybe we're all right. Seeing as there was no oil in this thing, we're just going to take the entire pan off, inspect it, and make sure there isn't some damage to this pan that's causing it to leak that much. Okay, spilled just a little bit on the floor there, getting the pan off because I tilted it, and there's just this little bit of oil actually in the pan that didn't come out the drain plug. That's it. That's all the oil that was in that entire engine. I'm going to inspect this pan, inspect that drain plug. I didn't see any shrapnel or chunks. Doesn't even look shiny in the oil. It's pretty black. But I didn't see any indication that there's damage. I tried to look up underneath to see where all that oil's coming from. And I didn't see anything other than I'd have to look up on these Nissans to see if they use the engine oil for not the transmission, but sometimes the engine oil is used for other things. So maybe it's leaking out another spot. But she is oily under here. Holy cow. I moved my oil pan because I ended up dropping one of the bolts inside the stupid oil pan. So we'll just let that drip on the floor. That's fine. That can be cleaned up. I'm going to have to clean up this gasket. That thing was a bear to get off of there. I don't know if they use that rubber stuff from the factory or not, but this thing had a nasty, nasty rubber seal instead of a gasket. So I have to scrape all that off of there. Maybe go get him a gasket. I wouldn't be afraid to use a little Permatex on this either to put it back together, but because it's so old, it really doesn't matter. But let's see if his pan has a has a leak in it or something, because that's where the leak was. It was right under the pan, right at the drain plug. So maybe that thing was cross-threaded at one point or something. So I'm going to show you this drain plug. This is really suspect to me. I don't know if you could tell, but that brass washer is not what she used to be. So you're supposed to replace these every couple times you do an oil change. Well, the oil change places aren't gonna do that for you, so they basically never get changed. So they either tighten more, or they cross set them, and the next thing you know, you got an oil leak. So I am going to find, I know I have some of those brass washers. I believe I bought a whole kit. Let me see if I have one that fits that. So I tweaked on that just a little bit with the pliers, and she just disintegrated. She was just thin as could be. You can see how deformed it is. So that wasn't making a seal at all. Let me find another washer that'll go on here. Alright, so I ended up using one of the washers that didn't quite center up. It was big enough. It was the same size as the head, but too big for the middle. So then I have a O-ring set. So I found one of these really small flat O-rings, and I put that in the middle to center the center of that washer. So that should actually work. So I've got it just propped up here on the bench, sorry. So I've got her in there snug. You can see she's not leaking. I filled it up with windshield washer fluid. Obviously didn't want to waste oil, and oil's kind of messy. I dump it out when I'm done, and she's not leaking at all. So I'm going to leave that for a little while here while I clean up the engine. I'm going to go up on the block. There was so much silicone on this thing. So let me get under that engine, start cleaning. I don't know if I'll have time today. I'll probably end up working on it some more tomorrow. I got to get to work here pretty soon. Alright, got me a cute little oil filter, some cheap oil from Walmart. I've already put the pan back on there. Sorry I didn't show that. I cleaned it up, put some black RTV silicone on there, made my own gasket. I'm going to read the instructions on that. I believe you want to let it set for 24 hours before you expose it to oil. So I'll probably going to go ahead and spin the filter on here. And then when I get home tomorrow and wake up, then I'll add the oil and we'll fire it up and see if it runs. Alright, for Permatex Ultra Black Gasket Maker, it says put on, and you basically put the item in place, kind of snug everything up, and let it sit for 1 hour. And then after 1 hour, you could torque the specifications, but wait 24 hours before adding oil. So that's something I've done for years, probably because I actually read the instructions back in the day. So I just went ahead and torqued those down. I had them up there kind of snug and in place. That kind of creates a nice squishy seal to keep the oil in. And in this case, like I say, I gotta wait till tomorrow before I add oil, but I am gonna spin this oil filter in real quick. Be sure you throw a little bit of fresh oil on here. This filter installs sideways, so I'm not gonna bother trying to fill that thing with oil, because all I'm gonna do is end up spilling it on the floor. So here's I'm looking from the front of the car. There's the oil pan. Come over to the side over here and pull this. There's a side cover here, and there's supposed to be clips and everything, but most of the time they're broke. And the oil filter, you can see that orange, the oil filter's right back in there. So it's actually pretty easy to get a wrench on it. Usually they seize up pretty good to get them off. I got my really nice wrench that I picked up. I think I got this, I'm pretty sure I bought this at Harbor Freight. Man, has that been nice. You can really get a hold of some oil filters and get a good grip on them to get them off. Obviously put a little oil on that seal and crank it on there hand tight. Yeah, really snug with one hand, but that's it. You don't have to go gorilla on it. Hello, how's everybody doing today?
Good.
I have some help today. What's your name?
Linda.
And what's your name?
Luna.
All right. So Linda and Luna are going to help me put the oil in the engine. I put a towel up here so they don't get too dirty. Let's get started.
Big ones you have to do.
Yeah, I've got a big one. I don't have those tiny little ones. So Papa's going to open the oil cap here. Ta-da! Now we can put the oil in. There's a big funnel so that way it's easier to aim, okay?
So it doesn't spill everywhere.
So it doesn't spill. So you come up here. I'm going to sit you on the car. I'm going to start with Linda first. Okay, so this is how we add engine oil. We just pour it in, okay? You gonna help me? Can you help me? All right. Oh, here we go. There we go. Oh boy. Goop, 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 goop.
That's my turn. Goopy.
Goop, 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 goop. Yeah, it's oily.
Now
There we go. Now it's Lulu's turn. Okay, come on down. Okay, get up there, Luna. Well, Papa better check, make sure it's not leaking. Let me see. Is she leaking? No, I don't see any coming out. That's good. Okay, hop up there, Lulu. There you go. Lean across and help me now. Now lift the bottom. Lift the bottom. That'll help, Papa. There. Whoa, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, slow down, slow down. Whoa. Okay.
Luna put a lot in it?
Oh, you put a lot in too. You just couldn't see it. It's making a goofy sound now because it was low. There we go. I had to put that whole thing in there. This car takes 5 quarts. Wow. Okay, Luna, you want to put the cap on? Hop back up there and put the cap on.
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
Give me that.
Where?
No, that doesn't go anywhere. I don't know where that came from. That doesn't belong to the car. Cap's right there. Okay, put the cap in there.
Where? Where?
The cap right here.
Oh.
Put the cap down in the hole. Do you know how to screw it down in? Turn it. Other way. Turn it the other direction. There you go. Keep going. Oh, and that's as tight as it goes. Good job. Okay, hop on down.
See, that's not that hard.
That wasn't that hard?
Nope, not business.
All right. So, thank you, girls, for adding oil to the car.
You're welcome.
Yay! Good job. Girls are standing off to the side. Papa's going to start the car. See if we have oil pressure now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's see if it starts. Turn it off because we're in the garage. Papa better open the door. Papa has to open the door so it doesn't get stinky in here from the exhaust. Well, what do we say?
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome, but what do we say? Yay! It's running. All right, so Papa's gonna put the checker on there. There's a tester. See this? There's a tester, and it has a little screen on it, like your little games. Because it kind of stinks. You can go back in the house now, because it stinks. Do you gotta go back in the house? Okay, let me move the ladder. Is it stinky?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should never run a car with the door shut. Well, it seems like they enjoyed that. Let me go ahead and put the checker on the engine and see if we have any codes anymore. I don't know why it was zoomed in. Okay, there we go. Read codes. No code stored. Okay, and all my lights on the dash. When I actually start it, it does have one warning light. That's probably with the door open, huh? Let me see. Yep, that light went off. That was a door. Looks like maybe traction control or tire pressure monitoring. He's got an alarm. But other than that, nothing else. And seatbelt warning. So actually nothing else other than that. We've got, this thing doesn't have an oil pressure monitor other than the there was like an emergency light here on the dash that shows when the oil pressure is low. So let's go check the oil level now and make sure that that 5 quarts was enough. Probably should let it on the ground because it probably is supposed to be on level ground when you check that. Let's go ahead and I'll get it set down and let me get all my tools off from under the car. And what they say, a clean car runs better. So I gave his hood a good wipe down underneath, got rid of all the layers of dust. Always nice to do something a little extra for your friends. Maybe I'll throw a little tire foam on the tires before I roll it out. It's rainy today, so then that'll really shine them up once it dries up. Right at the limit of my gap. Come on, get out of there. We got her. Let her down nice. Come on. All right, let's check the oil level now. Wipe that off because it was all tilted. Come on. Where are we at? Oh yeah, we're all the way up to the bump, which is the full mark on this car. So very cool. 5 quarts. She's got oil pressure. May have saved his engine. I don't know how it was running on a cup of oil. Honestly don't. The only oil it had in it was what was in the filter and what was in the very bottom of that pan. Did the WD-40 trick on his headlights for him. It won't last very long, but it looks at least a little bit nicer. There are ways to put a clear coat on them or do the polish. I don't think with the way this car looks he's too worried about that. A little bit older car. If they get really foggy though, then they can't interfere with your ability to see when you drive. All right, let's get her backed outside and move some other cars around the driveway already. So, looks like we saved this car. Hopefully there's no permanent damage there. It was running on 0 oil. So I'm going to work on cleaning this up. My granddaughters are begging to go swimming, so I better get going here. Thanks again. Like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. It really helps. And we'll see you in the next video, everybody. Thanks. Bye.